Hello, everybody. How are you today? Welcome to the Metta Meditation here at the Dharma Bum Temple for a Wednesday. It is wonderful again to see you. I hope you all are doing well. My name is Alex, if you're new here. And of course, if you're a regular here, go ahead and say hi in the chat box. I'd love just to acknowledge you and say hello. If you are new, definitely say hello and let me know where you're from. And let me just welcome you. So hi, Brian and Linda. Wonderful to see you again, or hear from you again, I should say. Okay, so we are doing a loving kindness meditation. The Buddhist word for this is metta, M-E-T-T-A. Metta comes from the Pali language. Hi, Jean. And so when an ancient word, that's 2,500 years old, gets translated from the original language into English, it's a very rich word, and it really has a lot of different meanings. And you can use different meanings depending on, who you're doing this practice for. So it could be loving kindness, unconditional friendliness, goodwill. And it's really simply just a wish to be happy, a wish for us to be happy, a wish for others to be happy, and also a wish for us and others to do the things that cause happiness. So what causes happiness, right? That is the question. Well, our positive thoughts, words, and actions. In a nutshell, that's what causes happiness. So, the motto of the Dharma Temple is think good thoughts, speak good words, do good deeds, right? And that's it. That's it. Nice and simple. And those are the things that cause happiness. So hello, Tamra. Hello, Candace from North Carolina. Well, isn't this a treat? Thank you. Wonderful. Hello, Candace. I hope you're doing well. Hello, Lisa. Good to see you again. And Eric, good to see you again, my friend. Hope you had a good time on vacation. So that's what we were just talking about, what this meaning of the word loving metta is, I should say. And so we talked a little bit about that. Welcome to all of our people, both old and new. It's wonderful to have you here. I don't have any updated news on the opening of the Dharma Bum Temple. This is the last week starting the last week in June, and my guess is the middle of July, but that's just an ish. We'll see. Variants are making this way quickly. About 20% of the COVID cases now are from the Delta variant, and which is incredibly transmissible. And they're thinking there may be another surge in October for the unvaccinated population, which is really unfortunate. So if you haven't gotten vaccinated, please do so. For your health and the health of others. All right. So, all right. Let's see here. So that's my weekly get your vaccine rant soapbox speech. Anyway, I'm doing okay. I'm doing really good. It looks like for me, we're pretty much going to be working from home pretty much from now on. So that's really good. I'm happy about that. It means that I can have lunch whenever I want or breakfast whenever I want. So that's nice. And it gives me kind of time to not rush. So not after I get off of work and, drive all the way up here where I live and be kind of all frazzled and, whatever when I, start the online class. Although when we actually open up the temple and I come down there, I'm looking at traffic and it's really not too bad. So, plus I can leave anytime. It doesn't really matter to me. And so I actually very much look forward to that. It doesn't matter that it's, no traffic, like a 25-minute drive to get to the temple. It's fine. It's not a problem. Happy to do it. All right. Let's see here. So, we've had a little chat. And so I guess we'll do them before we do a meditation. How about this? What's going on with you? I want to know. So let me know how you're doing. I always want to know how you're doing. I'm doing okay. Most people I see here are happy to get back to, normal adjacent. I don't even know what that means anymore, that word. Yeah, I am doing well. Still a little stir crazy sometimes, but it's all right. It's not a problem. Had a wonderful conversation with my niece, and who lives in Alabama and is vaccinated, and so she's doing good. So it's always good to talk to her. And other than that, doing pretty well. Nothing horrible going on at the moment. Meditating for a little bit longer, which is really good, and I think my body really, really wanted that because, oh my God, it's like eating that up. And so that's actually made me feel a lot better. So put me in a really good mood. So I'm happy about that. How about you guys? What's happening? Same old? Mostly good. It's complicated. Definitely socializing more. Eric, it's always complicated. Not with you, just in general. I think it's always complicated, especially now. So totally understand. Yeah, normal adjacent. Yeah, I say adjacent a lot to a lot of words. All right, that's okay. We can just start our meditation now. That's fine. So everybody, get ready. Get into the right position. Jean, sinusitis, grumpy. Amen, sister. I totally get it. I have chronic sinusitis. It's pretty gruesome. I don't know if you notice, I sniffle a lot. A lot. And it's just allergies and sinusitis and deviated septums and the whole shebang. And I totally get it. Candace says lots of anxiety lately. Vaccinated though, so that's good. So let's see if we can do something about your anxiety, even just a little bit, right? It doesn't have to be a major change, like you're gonna completely change your mindset after one 25-minute or so loving kindness meditation. But you know what? A lot of things can happen in this time. So let's get to it. All right, everybody, let's get into that seated position. All right. Let's do this. So just allow your eyes to close, making sure you have that seated position that's nice and comfortable for you, nice and sustainable, so you're not likely to move around too much. And also making sure you have that mindset of no struggle. We don't want to struggle in this meditation. We don't want to struggle with our seated position. We don't want to struggle with thoughts. We don't want to struggle with our mind. We don't want to struggle with anything. And so you have permission just to drop all anxiety and troubling thoughts just for a little while. And you can pick them back up later if you want to. That's okay. And finally, when we sit, something that's really helpful is to imagine that you're sitting as a Buddha. And you could even imagine yourself as a Buddha sitting underneath your own tree of enlightenment, whatever kind of tree it is. And you can choose your own tree. Every Buddha has their own tree of enlightenment. And so you can imagine yourself picking your own tree of enlightenment, sitting underneath that tree, ready for the day's abiding. Mindful, ardent, alert. So let's just start by taking a deep breath all the way in and all the way out. At first, not forcing the breath, letting it be quite easy and quite natural. And so, just for the next couple of minutes, just rest as gently as you can in the sensations of the breath before we start our official loving kindness meditation. Just get connected to the breath. And now to begin our practice of loving kindness, of metta, this unconditional friendliness and goodwill, the wishing for happiness for ourselves and others. At first, we can think of a benefactor or benefactors. And a benefactor is anyone who has shown us great love or great kindness, someone it's really easy to have these feelings for. And the only thing you need to do is picture this person or these people in your mind's eye and just radiate loving kindness to them. And however you understand that word radiate, just radiate loving kindness to them. Wishing for their happiness, wishing that they do the things that cause happiness. And because they've been loving and kind to you, which is the reason why they're a benefactor, hopefully this is really easy, that this heart quality will naturally radiate out of you. So just for the next few moments, we'll do this practice of metta for our benefactor. And shifting our focus just a little. Now we can imagine our benefactor doing this practice for us. They're our benefactor for a reason, because we've already had the experience of their love and kindness. And so we can just imagine them radiating loving kindness to us, wishing us happiness, wishing that we do the things that cause happiness. And just receive as much of that loving kindness as you can into your own heart. If there's any resistance, that's okay. Can you then breathe into that to maybe loosen it a little bit, allowing more of their loving kindness in, accepting all of it with a sense of appreciation and gratitude. And we'll do that for the next few moments. Now, probably the most important part of this meditation is the ability to have loving kindness and to feel loving kindness for oneself. And so that's what we're going to do. Wishing ourselves loving kindness. And if we can have that experience of loving kindness for ourselves, having loving kindness for others would just come naturally. So that's how important it is. And so you can either repeat phrases of loving kindness for yourself, like, may I be happy, may I be safe from inner and outer danger, may I be well in body and mind, may I be at peace and be at ease in this world. Or you can just radiate loving kindness back onto yourself, or just imagine your heart getting bigger and bigger because you have loving kindness for yourself. However you want to do it is fine. It's completely up to you. And so we'll just do this for the next few moments. And finally, we can explore the limitless quality of the heart by doing this practice for all beings in all directions, whatever beings there may be, great or the mighty, medium, short, or small, those seen and unseen, born and to be born. May all beings be at ease. So just extend your loving kindness as far out as you can go. And do this practice for all beings. Just open your eyes when you're ready. Just taking the next moment or two out in silence as you stretch your arms and you stretch your legs, keeping that mindfulness of loving kindness about you. And then we will get started in about 60 seconds. How about that? If you have any questions, anything, type them in the chat box. We'll talk about them. Yeah, it's close enough. All right. So Eric says, me too, swear by my Neomed sinus rinse. Recommend the 16-ounce bottle. I don't think I got the 16-ounce bottle. I think I got the smaller one, but I didn't know there was a 16-ounce bottle. But I love it. Yeah, I don't do it. Actually, I don't do it often enough, but every time I do it, it works. So for those of you who don't know what it is, it's just a rinse, a nasal rinse. You just kind of shoot it in your cavity and it comes out the other side. Then you do the other side, and very, very useful, kind of like a neti pot, but maybe a little bit more convenient than a neti pot, and easy to use. But neti pots are great too. Yeah, there you go, Gene. Perfect. I think I got rid of my neti pot when I moved here, or I might still have it. I don't really remember. But anyway, yeah, both are great. So, I don't. Brian and Linda say, how does transferring of merit benefit those who have passed away? I don't know exactly. That kind of transferring of merit is not something that's part of my practice when it's kind of worded in that way. I know Jeff says it a lot. And I think, and you can correct me because I'm not 100% sure on this, is that it benefits them for a positive next life. So that's the only thing that I really know about that. So yeah, so let's talk about Tamara's question. You talked about karma a couple of weeks ago and mentioned. And Eric has a question too. So good. We'll get to both of those. This is very exciting. All right, Tamara's question. You talked a lot about karma a couple of weeks ago and mentioned the idea of blamelessness. Karma isn't an idea I readily accept for a lot of reasons, but one is in the example of police brutality and race. And, there's just a lot of that going on now. And that has been going on not only in this country, but in other countries for a really long time, right? Even in, India right now, there is racism because lighter skinned people have it easier than darker skinned Indians. Whether that's racism or colorism, I'm not terribly sure, but it's certainly prejudice, and so let's talk about that just a little bit, and talk about something that people don't. I've said it before. People don't really like to. It might startle some people, a little bit, but When a baby is born and a baby comes into this world, that baby is born with karma associated, right, with them, and we don't know what it is. We don't know what it is. All right. Um, and so they are the owners of that karma. And it's hard to really realize because a baby comes into this world and they look so cute and beautiful and they're so innocent. They love to, we love to use that word innocent, not so innocent, because this baby has karma and we don't know what that is. We just try to provide as parents, you try to provide as good a life as humanly possible, as much as you are able. And they're working out their own karma. They're working out their own karma, and it's a hard thing to accept. It really is, and I understand that. But a couple of things to consider. It's possible that people, should I even go there? No, because it's not really Buddhist. But I will say that, that's part of our equanimity practice. And that's something that we don't talk about a lot. There's these 4 heart qualities that we have in Buddhism. And the first one that I talk about is metta, right? And metta is wishing loving kindness for ourselves and others. And the second one is compassion, which is wishing others don't get harmed. So I'll get to that question. Let me just kind of go through this a little bit. The first one's loving kindness. Like I said, the second one, they're like applications of loving kindness. So if for compassion is being with the suffering of another. So if you see someone suffering, you want it to stop. That's what compassion is. And the next one is sympathetic or empathetic joy, sympathetic joy. So if you see somebody happy, you want that happiness to continue, right? And the final one is equanimity. And equanimity is the balance, is understanding that you wish to help other people, but also understanding that there's only so much you can do, right? Because you understand that, one, your limitation, you do have limitations, and two, that other people come into this world with karma. So yes, Brian and Linda, when a baby comes into the world, they have karma from many past lives. From many past lives. And the thing to really understand about that is this, that it would seem that because I said that it would seem like karma is very kind of pessimistic. It's very punishing. It's very nihilistic in a way. Right? But karma is none of those things. And we often think that things happen to you only because of past karma, and that isn't true. This is why the present is so important, because your present karma is not only formed by your past karma, but what you do in the present. That's why what you do in the present is so important, because it's the only time you get to change anything. Because you can't change what happens in the past, what happened in the past, but you can change what happens with present time awareness in the present moment. You can investigate. You can look at the patterns of, things that you've done in the past that may have affected what's going on right now. And you can do it. And that's why the Buddha placed so much importance on loving kindness, about right action, all the steps of the Noble Eightfold Path, kindness, all of these different things. That's why they're so important. It helps you understand at least the basics of karma, like we talked about last week, right? That's what these things do. So you go, oh, positive actions lead to positive mind states. And positive actions are blamelessness. And just basic blamelessness can lead to a positive mind state. Like, oh, I know I didn't do anything wrong, so I don't have anything to worry about. Isn't that great? And so, again, that's why we talk about it a lot. That's why we talk about think good thoughts, speak good words, do good things, all these things that cause happiness in the here and now. So we're not ruled just by what happened in the past. We can affect what happens now with our present time actions and thoughts and words and email. And it's hard to look at a baby and say, wonder what kind of karma that they have. But the thing is, you don't know. You don't know. So let's get to Eric's question. And then if Brian and Linda or Tamara, you want to say something else, that's fine too. We'll get to Tamara's comment in a minute. Eric says, I've got a situation I'm ruminating on and want to stop. Any recommendations? So yeah, this is where the hindrances come into play. There's things that do that you ruminate on that you kind of want to stop, right? And I don't know all of them, but this is really kind of interesting. And the Buddha prescribes a few different ways to do this, and one of the ways is he talks about how thinking about this is causing suffering. Think about it in terms of suffering, and so he does that. All right. Another way is to generate positive mind states, right? And so not really thinking about that. So something like a loving kindness practice would be really, really beneficial for that. And there are a couple of different ways that are just kind of related. And this is what I love about this practice and what I was going to talk about initially, but I'll do it next week. But the last way, and there's 5 total, and I don't remember what they all are. But the last one is, because he gives you 4 options about getting these things out of your mind. The last one is, he says, ball your fists up and gnash your teeth and force it out. If all those other things don't work, if all these different mindfulness techniques don't work, then you just force it out by gnashing your teeth and just forcing it out of your head. I thought it's a last resort option, but the fact that it's an option at all in a spiritual practice is funny as hell, because you wouldn't expect it. Certainly I didn't expect it. So I thought it was hilarious. And I wish I could find it offhand, and I just can't do it. So take a look at the hindrances, and it'll probably give you those steps to do it like that. Hope that helped a little bit. But again, I get that way all the time with things that I want to think about, and usually some sort of physical activity can help as well. I've done that. And usually meditation just helps as well. A little mindfulness about not being afraid of it, just looking at it head on and seeing how this is causing suffering. That's kind of what I normally do. Tamara says, it's the I don't have anything to worry about, but that stings a little bit because sometimes we do. What do you mean by that? In terms of blamelessness? And what do you mean that you don't have anything to worry about, but you do? Are you blaming yourself for something that you shouldn't be blaming yourself for, perhaps? Or maybe you didn't do something and you're worried about not doing something, and that was not blameless inaction? Because that's really interesting too. We could be blameless but still harassed, but not because you did anything wrong. This is about you and your peace of mind knowing that you didn't do anything wrong. If you're blamed by somebody else even though you didn't do anything wrong, that's on them. That isn't on you. So it's really important that you understand that. And that shouldn't affect you knowing that you didn't do anything wrong. You know, and I don't know, and again, we're getting into a lot of the Buddhist teachings here, which is really exciting. And he talks a lot about like I don't know them all, like praise and blame and fame and ill repute and all these different types of opposites that can also still cause a lot of suffering. And we don't want any of these. Like, praise just generates ego, and blame, same thing. It's a negative effect of that. And so we try to be as even as humanly possible. And this is another thing about equanimity that is so important. That's why it's the last one, because it like ties the rest of them together. It ties together loving kindness and compassion and empathetic joy, and all these applications of loving kindness, which is our compassion, empathetic joy, plus the loving kindness itself. Equanimity is kind of like a gatekeeper. Is like, yeah, do all these wonderful things and think all these wonderful things, but you only have control over so much. Just do what you can do. And understand that you can't do everything. You can't fix the world. You can fix yourself, which is really important, and you can be there for other people, but you can't enlighten them. You can't, you can't save them. And that's what makes Buddhism different from, different religions like Christianity. I've saved all these souls. Well, I can't save a soul. I can tell you what practices are and encourage you to practice and be a practice leader and do all of these different types of things. And you can do the same thing, but you can't save anybody else. You can't take away somebody else's karma. And that's a really, on one hand, it's a really hard, it's a hard kind of like depressing thing to understand if you're just like getting into it. But the realization of that you can only do what you can do and you can be satisfied with that while still having compassion for all these other people that you can't help. You can still have compassion for them, but your compassion doesn't run away into attachment for not being able to help them in the way that you want to. Well, that was good. So many good questions. I'm just so excited. So we still got a few minutes, guys, like 3 minutes. We can, if there's anything else you want to know, hopefully that was helpful. Somebody's making dinner that way. Yeah, they're like the antidotes to the hindrances, and there's all these different types of things. So yeah, take a look at those, what those antidotes are. It was hilarious. When I heard about the last one about just forcing it out of your head, and I talked to Chan Jeff about that. He goes, well, it is a last resort, and all these other things didn't work, and you want it out. Go do it. Sure. Yeah. Well, that'll work. Absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you much for the meditating with me and all the wonderful questions. Thanks, Eric, Tamara, Brian, Linda. Thank you for participating. Hello, Candice. And anyway, that's it. Let's join our palms together at our hearts, please. And may the benefits of this meditation, this discussion, be received by all beings. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be joyful and at ease. May all beings be happy. May all beings be loved and seen for the beautiful, radiant beings that you are. Thank you for coming. Thank you, guys. Wonderful to be with you again today. We'll see you next time. Bye now.